Hello, Archie Dunlop here with Talking Astrology with Archie on Monday, August the 14th, 2023. Today I'm going to put up two videos. The first video is this video where I'm going to look at today's astrology. The second video is going to be on my topic of the day, which is going to be an update on Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and I put a link to that video in the pinned comment to this video. But without any further ado, I will look at the astrology for today, which is Monday, August the 14th, 2023. So the first thing we notice is that the moon is now in Leo. So that is a very different energy compared to moon in Cancer. Moon in Leo is a more self-centered. It's about wanting attention, feeling that we are important. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that at all, but I should point out that the moon in Leo is in some respects quite weak. It's not like the sun in Leo. The moon has no dignity in the sign of Leo. It's a bit fragile. Yes, it wants attention, but it doesn't always have a great deal of confidence. So, when we are out in the world trying to get people to notice us, we might be a bit reticent. So don't push it. Yes, it's nice to get attention, but also we have to ask, why do we want attention? With Moon in Leo, it's much more about, because we want to feel secure, we want to feel safe, and somehow it's safe when people are saying nice things about us. But is that really true? So take it easy, and don't feel that don't get upset if you're ignored. Don't take it to heart. Just keep doing whatever you're doing, and eventually you'll get the attention you deserve. There's no point in getting attention if we don't deserve it. It's got to be integral to us. We can't really force it. Now, as far as other things going on, there are a few midpoints that it's possibly worth talking about. The sun is up here, is aspecting the Venus-Uranus midpoint. So the Venus-Uranus midpoint is going to be around here, and the sun is making a semi-square aspect to the Venus-Uranus midpoint. That does add some extra excitement. It means that there may be sudden happenings, perhaps relating to relationships. People might suddenly appear from nowhere, or a relationship you're in might suddenly go in an unexpected direction. And overall, I don't think this is a bad thing. Generally, I'm talking about excitement, of a positive nature, not of a negative nature. On a more problematic note, Pluto is now aspecting the Mars-Saturn midpoint. The Mars-Saturn midpoint is about delay. It's about things not working out. It can be about frustration. In the worst case, it can be about death and destruction. So with Pluto aspecting the Mars-Saturn midpoint, some of us might feel very frustrated today. We might actually feel that we're stuck and that we have to do something dramatic and transformatory to resolve the situation. Now, maybe that's true, but before creating a massive change, consider whether it's really necessary. Sometimes if we are feeling frustrated, it may just be a question of just just being patient and allowing that, the frustration to work itself out. If we force it, we could create a situation which is unnecessary and could actually be very destructive. On another note, Mars is making a conjunction to the Sun-Zeus midpoint. Sun and Zeus. Zeus is a hypothetical planet. Zeus is often connected with, sudden action. It's often got a sort of military connotation, Zeus. So the Mars on the Sun conjunct the Sun-Zeus midpoint, might indicate a feeling that we have to take action. And it kind of marries with what I was saying about the Pluto on the Mars-Saturn midpoint. It's about dramatic action in certain situations, I suppose, particularly in a military situation, violent action. I mean, that Mars conjunct the Sun-Zeus midpoint is perhaps going to be more dramatic, for example, if you were in the middle of a war zone. If you're not in a war zone, it's going to just be more about big dramatic gestures to try and resolve a situation fast. But I don't think that Mars conjunct the Sun-Zeus midpoint for most of us is going to be particularly dramatic. On the other hand, Zeus is making a square to the Mars-Uranus midpoint. Mars-Uranus is about violence. It's about, in extreme situations, explosions, gunfire, all of that kind of stuff. So that Zeus square, the Mars-Uranus midpoint, could be particularly important in a war zone. But even if you're not in a war zone, I think it highlights the point that I was making, that some people may feel that they have to take major action to resolve their own frustrations. While Zeus square the Mars-Uranus midpoint is not in itself about frustration, we're in a general situation where Pluto is squaring the Mars-Saturn midpoint. So looking at all of those midpoints together, there are going to be certain people who are feeling frustrated and want to do something dramatic to resolve that frustration. And in most cases, I suspect that's a bad idea. And if you yourself are feeling frustrated, consider, what are you going to do to resolve the situation? Do you actually have to do anything? I suspect it's just a question of being patient. So now I want to move to my forecasts for the 12 signs. So here we go. Here are my forecasts for Monday, August the 14th, 2023. Aries, you're getting your fire back and you want to show the world who is boss. It's certainly true that you can have an impact, and there might even be something quite explosive about the way you present yourself. Yet what really counts is your ability to turn vague inspirations into something concrete and tangible. Taurus, it feels like you're getting an extra layer of comfort. Perhaps recently you felt that you were alone, or at least unsupported, but now things are changing and you realize that there are people out there who share your outlook and experience. You still need to do everything your way, according to your own rules, provided, of course, those rules don't break other sets of rules, for example, the law of the land. Gemini, there is something about you that is quite authoritative. You seem to know what you are doing, and leadership might come naturally to you. It perhaps has something to do with the way you communicate. You're clear and to the point, and just as importantly, you don't make a big show of pushing yourself and your agenda. Cancer, you don't have too much contact with the world, but you can nonetheless make things happen. Just be yourself and feel the quiet glow of your growing confidence. Though there may be times when you have to intervene, for example, when money is involved. Just because you don't get appreciation doesn't mean that you're not appreciated. Leo, the moon is moving into your star sign and you'll feel a sense of belonging and togetherness. The way you are and the way you feel will tend to align with each other. And perhaps you'll have a chance to ground the people around you. Yet in close relationships, there could be some excitement, something happening, probably favourable, that wasn't expected. Virgo, you've seen it all before, haven't you? People behaving in a particular way, circumstances unfolding with boring predictability. And because few things surprise you, you're in a position to strengthen yourself. You can prepare for the future and have answers to questions that haven't yet been asked. Libra, it does feel that you should be out in the world socialising. However, if you mix with people, your expectations might not be fulfilled. They just haven't got what it takes to see their promises through. And at the same time, their energy levels will be lower than expected. And the boldest of words can have the smallest of substance. Scorpio, you're a serious player and you have the chance to apply massive force. But how much force is needed? Surely just enough to get the job done. Go further than that and you could drain your resources. In career and business, an unplanned meeting or perhaps an almost random message could change everything. Sagittarius, you don't have to be happy with the status quo. If things aren't to your liking, you can make the necessary changes. This doesn't mean that you have to cause complete chaos, and indeed, you might not have to publicise your concerns. Quiet changes to yourself and your attitudes, which could quickly cause a mini revolution. Capricorn, the moon moves into Leo, and you might notice a change in the people around you. They might become more clear about what they want and also more self-assured, but certainty is not the same as strength, and it will become clear that someone is in danger of making a mistake. There's only so much you can do. Aquarius, relationships could be at the top of the agenda. After all, the moon is moving into Leo, your opposite sign. So give consideration to other people and don't always be the one to initiate activity. And if you are looking for excitement and variety, consider the possibility that someone special can provide it. Pisces, things have to be done properly and there is no room for shortcuts. You might think you can get away with it, but the world is observant, and even if mistakes are missed in the short term, in the longer term, their impact will manifest. On the other hand, a slow and deliberative approach can make you new friends, eventually. So I'm now going to move to the I Ching, and as always, I threw 3 coins, and I asked the question, what is Monday going to be like for visitors to my YouTube channel? And the first hexagram I got was hexagram number 59, dispersion. Dispersion talks about the way we get rid of, all the barriers and boundaries in our life, the stuff that's holding us up, the kind of things that can be cleared away. Perhaps with rain, dispersion, the image that comes with dispersion is rain, just rain coming along and clearing it all out. We've had dispersion a couple of times recently, so we have dispersion again. So, look at what's going on around you. Look at all the boundaries, barriers, everything just holding you up, and holding not just you up, but the people around you. People not being able to communicate, misunderstandings, that kind of thing. It's a lot of stuff just needs to it all needs to be cleared out. So the misunderstandings are important, because this bottom line here, you can see it's a broken line. It moves. It changes to an unbroken line. And so, what that means is the very first thing we have to do today is clear up misunderstandings, because there are misunderstandings. There are areas which, people just don't understand what the other person is thinking. People have got the wrong impression. We need to sort those out. We have to be honest. We may have misunderstood something. So if we don't really, if there's something important, get some clarification. If you get the impression that someone else doesn't understand it, don't be afraid of repeating yourself. Make everything absolutely clear. And in terms of clearing out the garbage that's holding everything up, I know I just talked about the moon being in Leo. Moon in Leo is about sort of ego, thinking of ourselves. No, it's not a time to be thinking of ourselves. We've got to be quite selfless about it. We've got to think about the common good. This is particularly if we're acting in a setting where other people matter. For example, in terms of family, at work, with our friends. It's not us. It's not you. It's not you yourself that matters. It's why it's a wider community. So be quite selfless about it, because it's something that needs to be dealt with, and it's not a time to be thinking about yourself. And at some stage with this dispersion, you might actually realize that all these boundaries, these barriers, these misunderstandings, whatever, could not just threaten yourself, but could threaten other people. And the I Ching actually talks about the concept of rescue. Now, I must emphasize, this is just an I Ching reading for today. So, this is not for the whole year or anything. So, but there is a certain hyperbole there, when I talk about rescue. So, reduce it to a kind of a more low-key level, not literally rescue. I mean, I hope not. I mean, I suppose I'm not saying it's going to be a massive flood or a volcano is going to explode and people are going to need to be literally rescued. I suppose it's possible. But yeah, certain people do need to be helped, and it's down to us to do it. Maybe they're in the process of making mistakes, going in the wrong direction. So do consider yourself to be a rescuer, in however small a way that people can be helped, so that everyone can be happy, and those barriers can be broken. And then once we've done all that, so there's a lot to do to sort out this issue. Once we've done all that, the hexagram does move, and it moves to hexagram number 5, which is waiting. It's like we've done our work, we've done what we have to do, and now it's just a question of just waiting. We can be fairly confident that we've done enough. I mean, I don't want to encourage complacency, but once all the issues that I've talked about with the previous hexagram 59 dispersion have been sorted out, the I Ching actually I think talks about eating is waiting while eating. Yeah, have a meal, relax, don't think about the future too much, because if you've been hard working and you've sorted out the details, things should be just fine. And it's just a matter of patience, just waiting for things to move, not just your way, but our way, everyone's way, because we should be thinking about society at large. So if you've done everything, that should be enough, and no need to panic, and be patient. So that's all I'm going to say for today. thank you for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.